Hi, I'm Mark Scherer. I'm the CEO and founder of Encompass Life and the host of the Encompassing Life Podcast. And today we have April Ritz on the call, and she is in Effingham, Illinois, about 2 hours east of Kansas City. I was just there.
St. Louis.
And, oh, St. Louis, excuse me. Well, Kansas City, Missouri is,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. Pardon. We were in Kansas City. And she's has her own clinic called Effingham Pelvic, and she has some really cool stories of how she got started and what she's doing here. And I'm a firm believer in the pelvic thing. It makes sense. It's a foundation. It's the pivot point for everything that goes on in your body. If your pelvic's out, your legs are out, your feet are out, and then everything above it and below it, it's the most important part of the body in my perspective. So, welcome to the show, April.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on.
You're welcome. So, you were sharing about how you got into doing this, and not just how you got into starting your practice, but what had you get into doing what you were studying, like what you were studying in college to get here? What had you
So I,
calling? What had you calling for all this?
yes. So I personally experienced several sports injuries growing up and was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, misdiagnosed for 5 to 7 years. Finally got a diagnosis my senior year of high school. And from that point forward, I realized I wanted to do physical therapy. So I went to school to get my doctorate in physical therapy. And while I was in grad school, I went to a conference and learned about the subspecialty of pelvic health. That hooked me from like the time I went to that conference that night. I heard a bunch of women speaking on their success stories with pelvic floor rehab. And from that day forward, I was like, this is what I'm going to be doing. I knew I wanted to be a mom, and I figured I would eventually go through, postpartum, menopause later in life coming up, not there yet, thankfully, but I knew I wanted to be able to treat myself as well. In our local area, there was only one other provider doing pelvic floor therapy, and I knew I wanted to bring this back to our community because I knew there were so many more women, men, and kids that could benefit that weren't being served because I didn't even know pelvic floor physical therapy existed or what it even was.
Awesome. Yeah, you're probably the fourth or fifth person I've had on the show who's been involved with pelvic. And the first one I was on, that's the first time I'd heard people were actually specializing in it. I mean, I knew how important it is. I've done a lot of chiropractic work. I've played a lot of sports. So yeah, I could tell there was something was up with my pelvic as well when I had an accident. And they're working on my neck. They're working on this. And man, I said that you got to get this set first, man. I said, get this set, everything else is going to follow. This is what went out first. This is what you got to get back on, get back done first. So yeah, I can see the importance of it. And you started your own clinic about 4.5, 5 years ago, you said, and
I
kind of had a pivotal moment in when you're working for somebody else and made that choice.
Yeah, so I graduated and started working for a hospital-based program and really created that program and got it going. After 5 years of being there, COVID hit, and we all know how COVID went in our area. And I didn't totally agree with how things were being handled. And after some hard conversations and meeting with some people at the hospital, I decided it was time for me to go out on my own and practice healthcare the way I thought it should be done. So I took the leap of faith and opened my own practice. And I actually, within 3 months, had to hire another therapist. I was not expecting to get that busy that quick. And yeah, beginning of October this year was our 4 year anniversary.
And how many therapists do you have now?
So I have a full-time therapist and a part-time therapist, and one of ours just went out on maternity leave, and she's gonna be a stay-at-home mom.
Gotcha. So you're growing. How big is how many square foot is your facility?
Oh, great question. It's about 1,800.
So what type of what are you doing to help get the pelvic floor aligned?
So we do 2 hour initial evaluations. So everybody has a story coming in, and we want to listen to that story because a lot of people have been dismissed. Kind of like what you were talking about earlier, like the pelvis. People kind of want to avoid the pelvic floor area, and they don't want to go straight to that as an issue. So during our 2 hour evaluation, we are going through full subjective history of bladder questions, bowel questions, diet, fluid intake, stress factors, sleep, activity levels, what they can't do because of their issues, and then also addressing any pain. So whether it's like TMJ, neck, mid back, low back, hips, all of it plays a role. Research shows TMJ and neck issues connects with pelvic floor dysfunction. So we try to get the full picture and see what we're dealing with. And then we start chipping away at all those things with 1 hour follow-up treatments, sometimes 2 hour treatments, depending on if the patient's driving further to come in for an appointment. So
Gotcha.
after we do the subjective and hear that, we'll do our actual like physical assessment. And that looks like we only have 2 hours. So sometimes it could use 3 or 4, but we're looking at pelvic alignment issues. We're looking at abdomen, abdominal palpation. We are looking at if they're okay with it that first visit, doing an internal and external pelvic exam. We truly believe if we want to do get the full picture and know what the best things are to treat, urinary leakage, bowel leakage, pelvic pain with sexual intimacy, we need to do an internal exam because we don't know how those muscles are functioning internally. So that could be vaginal for women, rectal for men. And we're comparing left versus right sides, looking at tightness, pain, tender spots, as well as strength and coordination.
Wow.
And then hip strength plays a role, lumbar, like range of motion, thoracic range of motion, diaphragm, rib cage expansion, all of that stuff plays a role in what we're doing.
Wow. Where'd you find all the information for this depth of knowledge you have?
Let me just say, in school, I had to do an independent study with a professor for 1 semester. And then I started taking my first public health class was as a student, but everything we do primarily is additional training outside of school because it's so specialized. So I have my certificate in pelvic health and certificate in obstetric care. So prepartum, intrapartum, and postpartum, and that's through the American Physical Therapy Association that I've got those certifications. We had to do case reports and exams. But most of the stuff I do now is all additional training outside of my doctorate program.
Gotcha. And when somebody has as much passion for something like you do, the information comes to you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just you got a lot of passion for it. You light up. It's really cool.
Yeah, I was told when I first graduated, you don't want to specialize. You want to be able to treat everything. You want to stay as a general practitioner. And the more I got into it, I was like, I have to specialize. There's so much I don't know. Like I will always be learning. So yeah, pelvic health, if you're going to do it, you need to fully dive in. I always tell patients and other people, like if they live in other states, don't find a pelvic health therapist that's dabbling. You need to find a pelvic health therapist that's like fully invested in pelvic rehab.
Yeah. So what does your treatments look like?
So second visit, typically when they come back in, I go over what I gave them that first visit. So there's so many different things we treat, so it really depends. But let's say constipation is a big one that drives a lot of other factors. So when they come back in, they've normally tracked for me like fluid intake, their fiber intake. I've given them some exercises, so I review those, make sure their form is well with those. And then I slowly keep adding on more education each session. I don't want to bombard people with way too much and they leave like, oh, I can't take this all in. So we do second visit, go over their home program. I then will make goals based on their water and fiber intake that they've currently been doing. I will make goals for what I want them to keep working on, so short term and long term. We go over I always finish up every session with the last 5 of what I found today, what you're doing going home, and what we're going to work on next session when you come in. So patients fully understand what we're doing.
So are you doing like stretching, weights?
Yes. Yeah. So we'll do second visits, a lot of talking and education as well, but then I do a lot of hands-on manual work depending on what the issue is. We'll do exercises because often hips are weak in certain directions with pelvic floor dysfunction. So strengthening those muscles so pelvic floor can relax better. And then, stretching for pelvis, the adductors, depending on hamstrings, depending on what we find and what's contributing to their situation. Every patient different, but I make a list of all the impairments at the evaluation, and then that's what we treat going forward.
Outside of the hips, inside of the hips, all that as well.
Some of the hip muscles are pelvic floor muscles.
Right. Yeah, I got in a pretty severe accident a number of years ago, sciatica real bad, so it kind of like atrophied, and getting back into it, I could do some of the movements I could do were like straightforward, but not so much side to side and try to get those muscles working again. It was it was so different than the way I was used to working out, because like I would do squats or whatever and work all the muscles together, kind of,
Yes,
and then you have to go ahead.
everybody's working quads and glutes, but nobody's thinking about the hip abductors and hip
Yeah,
internal and external rotators, which are super important.
for real, especially when I had that injury and then couldn't really even work. It worked them even less. So it got really. It was a very humbling experience coming back from it, put it that way.
Yes,
So,
I just had my fourth baby and I've been doing my own postpartum rehab as well. And I've had to do it with every baby. And I recommend all women do postpartum rehab. In some countries, it's standard care. You just see about for a rehab therapist. But I've been going for rehab now for almost 5 months and I'm getting there. I'm almost done, but it is very humbling going through it yourself too.
so you're a mom with 4 kids and a business owner. Wow, congratulations. How do you?
Thank you. My husband is wonderful. So my husband and we have a great support like family network that helps a lot too. Couldn't do it without them.
Oh my gosh, it's really cool. One of our clients has 19 children, and
Her pelvic floor, it's probably a wreck.
and and she's a business owner, and she's a single mom.
Oh my goodness.
No, I think she only has 5 at home now. Only 5 at home.
Okay.
But she originally had 9 biological and 10 adopted. I mean,
Yes.
just
That
a force of nature. She's an amazing woman.
good for her.
Yeah,
I love adoption and foster care.
yeah, really. 19 kids. She went like to Guatemala and would adopt somebody, or she'd go to Africa and adopt somebody, and and it's like, so sometimes she was sharing how she had to get them out. Like she would go in like dress up with, getting him all of her to talk men into like to talk the government into letting the kids go, and we'll give them a handful of cash, or she didn't know how she found all these kids. But he said one she was in an orphanage, and one of the kids had had genital mutilation, boy, and she saw him and they told him the story. So she walked up, she goes, "I'm gonna get you out of here, I'm gonna take you back to the States, and we're gonna rebuild you." I mean, just like she would have that big heart and just make those things go.
Yeah, transforming their life, like changing their
Yeah,
lives.
her
Wow.
life too. I mean, her life's
Yeah,
phenomenal.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah, really cool. So where are you headed with your business?
Great question. I would like in the next 5 years to actually add on to our current location because we are full capacity with our treatment rooms right now because we also have a gym. So I'd like to add on and expand. I would love to have about 4 full-time. I don't want to get to be too big. I want to keep it local, small, great connection. But I'd like to have like 4 full-time physical therapists, all doing pelvic health, but also each like niching down even more. So like oncology rehab after reproductive and colon cancers. We all treat pregnancy and postpartum. We have a membership around that. But one more for male pelvic health, a couple of us doing pediatric pelvic health and really like diving more in. Also, fertility care is a big one. And one of us diving more into that area with pelvic rehab.
Mhm.
So I would like to see us niching down even more into more like subspecialties of pelvic health.
Gotcha. It seems like with much passion and knowledge as you have, you could do like multiple clinics and train people beneath you.
Yes, we've talked about that.
Uh,
We have people that travel 2 hours to see us. So we've definitely talked about that. But right now, with my 4 kids, 6 and under, we're putting that on back burner, pause right now.
yeah, you could do it at the age of 45 or 50 as your kids start to exit.
Yeah,
Be a
we've
great
been
way to.
thinking about that.
Or you have a book? Do you have any? Are you writing a book or anything?
I am not. I have all these ideas that come through my head though, and that is actually something I was playing with this summer of like maybe I should write a book,
Yeah,
but I haven't taken
like
any steps on that.
I kind of see things, but sometimes when I talk to people, I see things. So you have a book.
Yeah, you said it now.
Awesome. So yes, with much knowledge of people as you have going on inside you, I'm sure you have some wonderful stories as well. Getting that out and getting people interested in where they really begin to understand how important the pelvic health is and what can be achieved through it. So cool.
Yeah.
Uh, what does your husband do?
He actually, so he was a school resource officer in our local schools for our county sheriff department, and he just retired this summer, and he's staying at home, and we're homeschooling our kids.
Congratulations on that too.
Yes.
Beautiful. And by the way, when you were speaking about COVID earlier, I'd love to have you back on and just talk about that.
Yeah, I'd be more than glad. I threw all my research papers. I went head in on that. And after a while, I was like, I've got to take a step back because I was causing myself more anxiety with how things were being handled. I'm like, I can't make like nationwide changes. I can only impact people around me. But yes, yeah.
I'd love to have that. I could tell you got a lot of passion for it, and I believe we're going to have a wonderful conversation. So I'll get with my people to send you another invite. If that's cool with you.
That would be great.
Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Awesome.
Yes. Yep. It was literally me starting my business and being where I'm at is all thanks to God. Like my faith, I could not have, if it wasn't for me, just like trusting the Lord and be like, okay, next step,
Yeah.
I can do this. He'll provide. I'll be okay. I got to
So
follow
I do public speaking as well. And so when I got involved with the system, I had a speech impediment as a child. If I said a word incorrectly, I would get hit or yelled at. My speech impediment turned into a stuttering issue. I stuttered for 50 years. For me to say the word God or love or speak in front of people, it would be like, no way. I would sit there and literally sweat through a shirt to do so. I mean, and I remember one of my mentors said, the fear of public speaking is more important, is greater than the fear of death. I go, yeah, I think I'd take that bullet to get up on stage. I mean, I would have that conversation in my head.
And look at you now.
Yeah, with this system,
podcast.
I went from a stutterer to clear speech in 10 minutes, and being able to speak in front of a group of people. So, yeah, it's amazing. I do have. So, how do people get in touch with you?
Best way is to call our office. But if you want to find out more about our business too, you can go to it's Effingham, EFFINGHAM, pelvichealth.com. We're also on Facebook, Instagram. But if you're local, want to maybe reach out for some help, our number is 217-705-5077. But you can reach out to us anyway, email, website, Facebook, Instagram, call our office.
And for somebody to come in and do an initial talk with you, got to see if it's a fit. How does that work? Is there a exchange of money or?
Yes. So when they come in, we would go over prices on the phone with all patients when they first call and book. So there's like no surprises. We are considered out of network with insurance. So when people come in, we will give them, they pay at the time of service. We give them a super bill that they can submit to insurance for reimbursement. We keep our prices significantly lower. So with physical therapy, it's CPT codes. We're about third, depending on which business, a third to a fifth of the price cheaper per CPT code than all the network surrounding clinics. So yeah, we take payment, time of service, HSA, FSA, checks, cash, whatever, however you want to pay, and then we'll give you that receipt to try to get reimbursement.
Awesome. I do have one question for you before you get off, and that question is, what do you love about life?
Oh, I love that.
Well, thank you.
There's so many things. First thing that stands out is like my husband and children, and being able to like do this business and know that they're at home receiving a great education and getting family time together by this business. I also love my faith. My husband and I are very involved in our local church and retreats. And I actually love planning events too. So I have an upcoming date night this weekend. And marriage, the importance of marriage is a huge passion of mine. So we meet with engaged couples getting married. So I would say family and faith.
Awesome. Thank you. I guess that's all I have in mind. You have anything else you'd like to leave with the listeners?
No, I'm going to say if you are not local and you're looking for a pelvic health therapist, you can search for one near you on Google. If you type in APTA SOWHPT locator and you put in your zip code, and it will tell you local pelvic floor physical therapist. And then to find a good one, I would just call and see if they are specializing in pelvic health or if they're dabbling in it. So you can ask those questions, because I think every single person, especially women, need a good pelvic health therapist they can turn to throughout their lifetime, from teenage years to like marriage, pregnancy, postpartum, menopause. We all need a pelvic health therapist.
Well, for sure. And then as you get older, people fall down and break a hip because they don't have the strength and flexibility there, and you can keep yourself healthy as you age. Really
Yeah.
important. Really, really
Or
important.
if they have urinary urgency and rushing to the bathroom and can't hold it, and then they fall because of that. Like, urinary leakage is one of the biggest factors for nursing home admissions. So if we can stop it after childbirth and in those, 40s, 50s, it's going to be a better health predictor for like long-term health.
Awesome. Well, April, thank you so much for being on the show. Blessings for you and your growth in your business.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
You're welcome.